The views, information, or opinions expressed during the Seeds of Wellbeing series are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, or funders, and any affiliated organizations involved in this project. Welcome to a Seeds of Wellbeing Voices from the Field podcast featuring voices of Hawaii agriculture producers for Hawaii agriculture producers. These podcasts are made possible by a grant from the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, also known as CTAHR, and the Seeds of Wellbeing, or SOW project, and is supported by a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and the Hawaii Department of Agriculture. The intention of these podcast series is to create a safe space for respectful and inclusive dialogue with people from across a broad and diverse spectrum involved in growing and making accessible the food we share together. A diversity of voices, perspectives, and experiences can serve to deepen mutual understanding, to spark creative problem solving, and provide insight into the complexities of our agricultural system. If you, or listeners, have experiences with Hawaii agriculture ecosystem, from indigenous methods, permaculture, smallholder farmers, to large, including multinational agricultural industrial companies, and everywhere in between, and you would like to share your story, please contact us. We welcome your voices and perspectives.
Aloha mai kākou. Welcome back to another episode of Voices from the Field, a production by University of Hawaii, College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. This is the Seeds of Wellbeing project. And my name is Alex Wong, and I'm here with our special guest, Christy Wong, who represents the Kauai Animal Education Center. Aloha, Christy.
Yeah, aloha.
I was wondering if you could start off by sharing a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and what your organization and your farm is all about.
Oh, mahalo, Alex. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I am from Kauai, originally up from Kauai, and we started Kauai Animal Education Farm based on the needs to address a lot of issues that our community on Kauai was dealing with. One of it is an influx in species that were not native to Kauai without having the resources of dealing with animals that needed to be rehomed. The Humane Society is inundated with cats and dogs. We really don't have enough medical services to address these, like turtles, chinchillas, rabbits, guinea pigs, just like all these other animals that are being brought in through either Petco or the people moving here. So we're providing this space for these amazing animals. We currently have 19 species, and we operate in Kaupa'a. The land not utilized by all these animals grows native medicinal and edible plants. This is a way for us to provide food security for these animals that we are housing, being responsible for. It's also an education piece for our community to learn different styles of farming and growing food. And it's also, you know, the natives, not only do they heal us, but it also provides habitats for our indigenous native species. We are also stewards of our stream, Kainahula stream, which ends in the ocean, and it starts at the base of Makaleha. So we are aware of our surroundings and being good stewards, understanding that that is basically very, very important for us to open, maintain, and keep healthy, because that is the way for the o'opo to go back home. That is a nesting site for our alai'ula, hunting ground for the auku'u, just so much. So we have a lot of responsibility, and these animals help us. Our main goal is to provide a source for our community to be better people. So these animals is kind of the catalyst to help us bridge those gaps in communication, in health, in therapy, in trade skills, in stewardship, in leadership, just so many avenues of helping us to be better. And so we are looking at partnering with different organizations. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a therapist. If we can partner, then that's so much more effective in bridging those gaps that are needed to help facilitate that, whatever, the connection, the healing, the support in our community. So that's what we're doing.
It sounds like your animal education center is a great opportunity to connect people to animals, to the land.
Yes.
And I was looking on your website. I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about the specific types of people that participate in your program in the education center.
We work with everyone, for kids of all ages. We work with the drug court. We work with child and welfare services. We work with our judicial system. We work with our schools, with field trips, special needs. Instead of sitting in the school doing tests or whatever, they can come to the farm. They can contribute. They can learn so much hands-on activity. We also work with our youth at risk. We partner with Haleopio, Haleho'omalu, Halekipa. I can't even think of everybody, but a lot of partnerships so that they have an outdoor resource, so it's safe through COVID, and also that it's not a mundane activity. There's always something new. There's always something happening, and we're a rescue, so we're taking in animals that otherwise wouldn't have homes. So how fun is it to come and, feed a baby goat? You got to bottle feed the baby goat. Oh, next week there's a cow. Oh my gosh. So let's go learn and have fun with the cow. There's just 19 species of animals. There's a lot, something for just about anyone. And if they're little bit shy with the animals because something happened, when you're young, you grab the baby chick, the mom come attack you. So chickens aren't your thing. We have the space to be able to make you feel comfortable because there's enough, there's so much to do, and it's so peaceful and it's so beautiful and really, really gives you that chance to just be.
Sounds like your farm is a great place to relax and unwind and address the stressors in your life for anybody, really. And especially those who are facing specific stressors in their own personal lives as well. The at-risk, I saw that on your website, at-risk youth and even inmates, I think I noticed it said. So, animals help us heal, and the aina, the land, helps us heal. Yeah, so what an amazing opportunity.
We believe in being stewards of in how we use the land as a symbiotic relationship. We've come from generations of farming style, the agricultural, you just utilize the land consistent, you take as much nutrients as you can, you throw a bunch of fertilizer, and just a different way of farming. So how we do it is symbiotic relationship. We have the animals help us. The animals eat, clear, poop, fertilize, and then we can use it for a crop or something. The land tells us what to do. We're not trying to force the land to, okay, I want you to grow pineapple, I want you to grow this, I want you to grow that. We really want to try to listen to the land and say, oh good, hono grass is growing here, we love hono grass, or whatever. And being able to use that knowledge and apply it and make it duplicable throughout the land, the island, and work with nature and not against it.
So sounds like you're creating a template or a model for other landowners to follow in terms of creating a more natural farm.
Yes.
One that's like you said, symbiotic with the environment.
Yes.
Now, are you learning from another existing model somewhere else in Hawaii?
Always. So I think it's Olamana Gardens in Oahu. I haven't even met him, but like I have he's just amazing.
Okay,
And I
quick
should have
plug,
studied
Olamana Farms.
yeah. I believe that is. Look, I should have studied and thought about this before I said anything.
All good, all good, all good. I was just, it's sort of the conversation headed. I'm curious because, it's
Yeah.
that's what we need. We need more examples of regenerative farms.
So it is. It's Olamana Gardens in Waimanalo in Oahu. He is our closest because there's so many business models that I'm following from the mainland. So I'm looking at, guys have been living on their property since like the 1800s. So they have their farms, they have their stables, like they have a pumpkin patch, and then they do farm tours, and then they do rides, and they have it all. It's a well-oiled machine. Over here, I haven't known one family that is, besides the Haraguchis, but really that have been able to utilize the land for generations. This is kind of all new to us, right? A lot. So for me, looking at the business model and the services that I provide, I look to the mainland. But for our growing, because this is such a, we don't have seasons. We don't have for us, we have so much animals. We don't have a lot of the predators that we got to worry about. So, and our focus is so much on the native. I'm not worried about bringing stuff from India and growing it. I'm not worried about bringing in more of things that haven't really been here, because I don't want to be responsible for the effects later when the hurricane comes, when things happen, right? We don't understand that repercussions of bringing in these new species. Our Hawaii has maintained millions of people for a lot of years using a system that has worked for so long. Looking at the past to help us move forward is what I believe. And understanding how the symbiotic relationship works is, I think the most beneficial.
It's the it's the sustainable thing to do.
That's what it seems like. Yeah. And
otherwise it's not going to continue. It cannot perpetuate itself, right?
Yeah.
So my question then for you is, do you have a nursery where you propagate natives and cultivars that you're growing currently, or?
No, a lot of what I say is basically looking at what we want to create. What we are doing right now is utilizing 8 acres of property, and we've only been there 4 years. We're not government funded. We are not, we don't apply for grants. You hear how I talk. I'm not very intellectual. We are basically, this is grassroots. This is uncle's taking down his fence. He's not going to use it anymore. We're going to use it. Our land is very, very, we cut down the guinea grass that's 8 feet tall. Now we have a road. Now we have fencing for the animals to utilize. The plants that we planted, they're only 2.5 years old. So everything is really, really brand new. This year, we're super excited because we're able to have a successful Easter event. So with that funds, we are able to put in more infrastructure. We are redoing fencing because of the land told us again. That sounds super weird. But when Waidelia is taking over a certain area, that's not where to raise your animals, right? So adjusting and really learning what the land will provide so that we're working with it, not against it. So learning where the floods are, learning where the how the seasons, the sun, the wind, the storms, when those north winds crank, all of that, understanding the layout of the land really, and then being intent because we're growing animals too. So we have to be doing right by the animals and not endangering their lives, right? So this year we're really excited about making more habitats and infrastructure to accommodate all the animals that we have, and then the intent of, okay, this is where our natives are going to grow. This is the best place, right? So we're kind of, I kind of talk big on what we're creating, yet I'm not there yet. We don't have produce that we're able to sell. We don't have crops that we're able to sell. It's in our business plan. It's coming. We're not there yet. And another thing that we're dealing with is there's no infrastructure. So we don't have running water. We don't have heat. And we don't live on the property.
So that's a tough one. So in terms of water access, do you have access to, is there a stream or a river?
There's the stream, and then we also have water catchment. We want to do the three, that's almost always we want to have three. So we have the water catchment, we can bring in water, and then we use the stream.
Any potential for well?
So this is in Kulana. At some point we'll have water. We've been waiting.
Try wait.
Yeah. So at some point.
Yeah, I mean, what you're listing has been also brought forth as some of the top challenges of other beginning farmers, people who around the islands are trying to get their farm off the ground so that it can produce a steady revenue stream. The hard part is if you're not backed by a wealthy uncle, or if you know more corporate interests that are, you know, supporting you, or like you said, if you don't have any grants, the ROI is very slow. Yeah, the return on an investment is super slow. And for every time you sell like one harvest of tomatoes, or you make lei for one event, you get a little bit of cash, and then you gotta like go down your wish list and pick out the most the highest priority, most beneficial, highest value thing that will get you to that next level. And it's so slow. It's so slow. I know the feeling. I can empathize with that one.
So for me, my biggest thing is because I know I don't know. I know shame ass. Yeah. I know that there's so many resources. Hawaii Small Business Development Center has been pivotal in helping us not only develop, well, really, this is an organization that has never really existed here on Kauai, let alone in the state, let alone, you know, there's bits and pieces that we can that's a kind of similar, but really nothing. So how do I talk to people and be like, we're going to do this thing that hasn't been done before. What do you think? Yeah, you're crazy, lady. So, okay, I know that this needs to happen. These animals cannot be released in our ecosystem. It's not an option, right? Okay. Our children are suffering from depression. Our children, join the club, everyone, right? We are not a healthy society anymore. The depression, anxiety, drugs, suicide, hopelessness, everything is at an all-time high seemingly right now. How do we address these issues? Because for me, I cannot handle seeing our people struggle so much. I was homeless. I'm not a crackhead. I work hard, yet I couldn't afford. My husband got sick. He was the breadwinner of the family, right? I had 3 kids. My 2 kids, I have 3 kids. 2 of them were sick, medically sick from when they were born, with no answers here on Kauai. We struggled. Of my 3 daughters, we don't really talk about this, but suicide is so prevalent in our community. I'm very tight with my children, my family, where we all work together. I homeschool my kids. Our families are very, very close. Of all the suicides that have been happening, we've had that connection. My daughters have known 2 that have lost their lives. These are families that they have that loss. Where are the resources? And if you don't know how to do better, you're going to stay in the same path. And I refuse that. I refuse that for my kids. I refuse that for our community. And for these kids that are just, what do we do? Why? What are our options? I suck at taking tests. I'm stupid. You know how much times my teacher tell me I'm stupid? No, you're not. You sorry, I'm getting off subject. Anyway,
No. This is on topic. This is why the Seeds of Well-Being was grant funded. Was to have this conversation right here.
Thank you. It's tough. It's a little too close to home. And when I talk, I'm not talking because somebody's paying my bills. I'm not talking because I just moved here. I'm not talking because I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been in the dirt. I've been treading water. I've swallowed water, tumbled, the best advice I could give everyone who is struggling is you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
You have to reach out. You cannot, we as a people, as a human being, as species, and I work with animals, so I see a lot of the similarities. We are not meant to be by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We have to reach out. You struggling, there's somebody else that's probably struggling the same as you, that maybe is, if they don't have that solution, they have the ear, I'm hoping, right? And then just by being able to be humble and let go of that ego is that's a poison. I feel like it's a poison because it keeps you isolated. It keeps you thinking that there's a difference between you and that next person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. The more that we're able to connect, the more that we're able to talk, the more that we're able to share, the more that we're able to let go of our pride and be like, why? How you guys are doing? How did you do this? How, I'm struggling with this. I don't care what it is. Mites, banana bunch, this, that, like, if we are able to build each other up, we are able to build our community up. And if you're succeeding, I'm succeeding,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's just how I feel. So as farmers, as people that are choosing one of the hardest jobs possible, because you're not going to make millions today. You're going to struggle. You're going to lose your crop. You're going to go with drought, you flood. Pick it, it's going to happen. And yet you persevere. That is the greatest reward, right? Not the nice new Yoder or, I don't know, something materialistic. The reward is being able to, okay, now I know how to do this because this is what worked for me. Let me help you do better. And I feel like that's where the disconnect is that I don't need to talk to my grandparents. I don't need I got it. I know how. I'll do it. They already went through it all pretty much. Let's talk to our community, the ancestors, the ones that came before, whatever, and let's learn from them to help us not go through. Why are we going to invent the wheel?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we going to work double hard? They've already done it. Maybe we should humble ourselves and just be like, hi, let's have these conversations.
Yeah, because if we don't study history, we doomed to repeat the same mistakes, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
So that's why you're doing what you're doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing, and we're here
and
today.
We're both smiling.
Farming, yes. Farming does, you're right. Farming does not grow lifted Toyotas. It grows stronger people. The stronger minds.
Thank you. Yeah.
I heard one quote from another uncle here on Kauai. He said that farming, agriculture, is the slowest of the performing arts.
And
nice. When you grow animals and you grow plants, it's like a symphony, a green symphony in slow motion.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah. That's Uncle Jerry.
Nice.
Ellis, yeah. He said that one.
Nice.
But okay, so that's the reality. That's the reality with your life, with your situation, with your community. That's the reality for many people around Hawaii, in rural areas and in the city, in the urban jungle, in the concrete jungle. That's the reality. But we have animals, And we have people like you, Christy. So can you share a little bit about how you've seen your animals help heal people? How about
It's
for you? How about for
stories.
you? You specifically, like why are you so drawn to starting an animal rescue education center farm? Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big animal guy.
I,
I like growing plants, but animals are cool. They definitely serve a very important function on a regenerative farm.
you know what I saw was I saw, when you're young, just about every single kid has some type of animal farm book. They have some type of animal snuggly toy thing, right? Like a little bunny, bear, whatever. It's some type of animal. It's not a robot. It's not it's an animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
From there, you kind of grow up and you kind of just become an older person. But there's always that weird connection. When they finally see a rabbit, it's like, holy smokes, that's what a rabbit looks like? That's what a rabbit can do? Oh my gosh. That's what I don't know, goats, chinchilla, rat, guinea pig, I don't know. But the reality of actually seeing them is so mesmerizing when they're able to make that connection. Okay, so teenage boys. Every teenager is wonderfully weird, but teenage boys, they're going through something bizarre. We don't talk about it. They're supposed to figure it out. They're supposed to know. No skills for them. Okay, so they're just trying to be them. We have fancy pigeons. We have pigeons that are bred to have this big, beautiful chest. It's our air in their crop. And then another species that has feathers that could reach like 4 inches out from their feet. So they're Pomeranian poulters. They're ridiculously fancy. Anyway, I'm I I I I make animals live, but it's not like, oh my gosh, like I have to have an animal. Okay. I like animals. They serve a purpose. Like that's how my relationship is. What I see is the powerful connection. So I have these teenage boys, they come into the aviary and we just saw like 13 other species. We saw the cow, we saw the horse, we petted the sheep, whatever, cute. Okay, Auntie. We go inside the aviary and these boys are just completely quiet. They are in awe. They're looking at these birds and not one word is said. And it's so powerful what I witnessed because I, I, I don't, they're connecting. I don't know what's happening. They're not trying to flip them up. They're not trying to see what they can do. They're not trying to, oh, wow, why, Auntie? What's going on? What's happening? It's just this quiet moment. And I don't know, something happens. Once that happens with any individual, all of a sudden, then the work can begin. All of a sudden, then they're listening. All of a sudden, they're seeing. I don't know what it is. Again, I'm not a teacher. I'm not medical. I just know something powerful happens. And then I know that the work can happen. Like whatever that work is, the barriers have been broken down. And I never do nothing. I opened the cage and I said, here, go look.
You do something. You provide the opportunity. You're like the magic.
Yeah,
You're like Mary Poppins.
But that's the thing is being able to provide a home for these animals
Mhm.
that then in turn help our people, right? Because when we're working with our youth, it doesn't matter if it's youth at risk, it doesn't matter if they're kupuna, it doesn't matter if they're in jail, it doesn't matter if they have disabilities. You work with the animal, all of a sudden we're on the same page. As with people and the animals, not with me. I'm saying with their relationship. What sparkles in the kupuna's eyes when they come and they see the animals, all the stories come back from when they was kailua kona and they was raising turkeys in their yard. And oh my gosh, I remember when I had to bottle feed goats and oh my gosh, mucking out the stall. Like all of that comes back, right? they haven't had that opportunity in years. So all of a sudden they're taking back to their childhood and they're remembering, and it's such a great connection. Okay, then we go to like the disconnected from our community, the ones that are incarcerated, or the ones that are on drugs, or the ones that are in child welfare services. These individuals have been hurt from the very beginning, from the ones that have promised or are supposed to protect them, that are supposed to love them, that are supposed to provide for them, that are supposed to nurture them, provide the very basics for them to thrive, live, whatever. Those have been broken, right? How the heck how the heck are they supposed to connect with one teacher? How are they supposed to connect with one therapist? How are they supposed to connect with all these one friend? They're gonna put up these walls. They gotta protect themselves, right? And just pretty much robot true life. When these individuals come and I tell them the story of how maybe this animal was abused, maybe how this animal was neglected, because we all know animals isn't the best thing to, I mean, like, how easy is it for forget, feed the fish, a couple of days. Imagine having so many stories for each of these animals on the abuse, neglect, or just uneducated. Okay. So if I'm able to tell these stories about these animals, all of a sudden that hits, and there's understanding, and now there's compassion, and now there's so much that happens. It's whatever. Anyway, sorry. It's cool. It's super cool.
I think it's perhaps feeling the life in another living thing.
Yeah.
And sharing that moment where you realize both you are alive. And we both struggle. Everybody suffers. Now I sound like a Buddhist, but yeah, everybody suffers.
We do, though.
We're alive. We're alive. That's the thing. We're alive. So that's amazing.
And then you go outside and you pick the tangerine and you're over there mopping them. Then you give the skin to the rabbit because they need the vitamin C. And then go put your feet inside the stream and go look all the fishies and the mendakas, and it's cool. It's a cool
You're
space.
alive. You feel alive at the farm.
Yeah. All your senses are, you cannot just black out. You're not on your phone, right?
On your phone,
Too teenage, this thing is just not. Disconnect. This is where we are. Disconnect to reconnect. Because when you put your feet on the ground, that connection is made. And for so much of our people, the Hawaiian people have been disconnected for so long and told, you got to go school, you got to work on job, you got to eat out of a box, ride in a box, live in a box, watch a box. Like, it's just, it's doesn't work with their na'au. Their na'au has that drive, that you're created for so much more. Where's your passion? Where's your drive? And then sometimes that's a little too loud or a little too uncomfortable. So we're going to numb it. Yeah, I cannot. How are you going? I got to pay rent. I get 3 kids, this, that, all the obstacles. So I'm going to just numb it. I'm going to check out. I'm going to watch my TV. I'm going to sign my kids up for sports, throw them in school, keep them busy, keep them distracted.
Yeah, drink another beer.
Yeah. And then the cycle continues.
Wake up and do it again tomorrow.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's what we're designed for. I truly believe we're designed for so much more. And what we're hoping to create is that opportunity to have these conversations, the opportunity for us to share, okay, this is how we did it. Not saying that you got to do it this way, but this is how we did it because this is what we believed in. What do you believe in? How can we help you? What do you need? I know my friend Alex Wong here. He gonna help you get started. I know this guy. Like, let's get outside of ourselves. Let's get outside of our boxes and let's just start doing what we're supposed to do. What are we called here to do?
To live.
Live free. Yeah.
We're here to live, not watch a screen.
Thank you.
And yet, ironically, here we
and
are.
We are. Here we are.
Through a screen. You know, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. There's a time and a place. Yeah, the responsibility. You know,
yeah.
These kids these days, they don't realize they have this device with so many answers to so many questions that they have, and yet.
And they stay playing brain. What is that? Bubble pop or something? Oh my goodness! No.
Instagram,
No.
TikTok.
Hey, so how's this one? We do a summer enrichment program, right? I told you we just finished our Friday. I've been doing this for like 8 years now. When we first started, I was so gung-ho, so excited. We studied the animals all week during the day. Then that Thursday night, we did a sleepover. They had to learn how to make their own tent, their own fire, like basic skills. If these darn kids never know how to do, okay, this is how bad it is. Okay, this is where my fire is so on right now, right? These boys couldn't figure out how to make their tent. They couldn't figure out how to do a fire. Then when they were sitting down, they was all frustrated. They look up and they was like, wow, what is that? Alex, they was talking about the stars. They didn't know what the stars was. I'm not making this up.
How old?
They was 8 years old. Kauai kids. This isn't from New York. This is our own kids.
Wow.
Bruh, I lose my mind. I go, what you talking about? You don't know the stars. He goes, well, no. And then I go, okay, but look at the fire. The fire is not, well, in Minecraft, what's it called? Minecraft. All I need to do is, I'm on, no.
Wow.
I like cry. How scary is that? This is our future? Minecraft? No. That was a huge awakening for me to know that's how disconnected our kids are. They're not living in one. There's no more excuse. I mean, I'm going off. I'm sorry, but
no. This is very important.
Holy smokes!
This is very important. You know, another quote that I heard during this Seeds of Wellbeing project was, we cannot forget the culture and agriculture. Right. And the other thing too is that agriculture is not one profession. It's not one job. It's not one career. It's a lifestyle. And so these kids, right, if they're not living the lifestyle, then how are they going to know how to make a fire or read the stars and the moon cycle? It's more than just you punch in and you punch out. Being a farmer.
Absolutely.
It's a mentality. It's a way of living, way of thinking, going with the flow, the natural cycles of things, the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
And we got to reprogram ourselves. We got to deprogram the matrix and reprogram.
Absolutely. And I think that's the hardest thing. I think that when, COVID hit and we're all, oh, shoot, we need to be food secure. I'm going to start farming. I'm going to start raising animals. I'm going to be, the excitement was real. The awareness was there. But then the disconnect was, but I'm tired. Yeah. But I don't want to. Okay, but I'm Powell. And there is no, you said clock in, clock out, right? There is no 9 to 5. You doing this, the animal needs life consistently. The plants need to be tended to consistently.
It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a dedication. It's a daily dedication, a devotional, really. You got to show up for yourself just as much as you got to show up for the plants and the animals.
Right.
So, and there's a steep learning curve. There's a very steep learning curve with keeping plants and animals alive. And
absolutely.
If you want to be good at anything, you got to put in the time.
And our day and age is such instant gratification.
Instant
So
gratification.
we're
Yes.
going to, buy Walmart, Miracle-Gro soil. We're gonna put our tomato tree, and it's gonna just fruit and just constantly give us food. Okay, well, we got to understand soil, we got to understand the growing cycle, we got to understand trimming, we got to understand so much more of than just, okay, but you're a tomato tree, so give me tomatoes. You're a chicken, so I want eggs.
Mhm.
It doesn't exactly work like that. And that's why we named the farm the education farm, is because we're really trying to empower others to understand. I'm all about food security, absolutely, but let's understand what it takes to be able to raise these animals sustainably. Because if you're waiting for the feed to come, do you have money to pay for that feed? Or there's barges going to be here with that feed? If not, we have a problem. If you don't know how to source other products, you're going to have a problem. If we're growing food, okay, how do we do it so that we're not working double? How do we do it so that, okay, we're going to understand what this thing needs to thrive, to grow. And guess what? The droughts will come. The winds will come. They'll blow all the fruit, all the flowers off the tree. It's every single farmer from, I don't know, what is it? When did we start farming? 1700s. They all go through seasons, right? It's not just one season. It's not just a few years. It's seasons, continual. You're gonna have your good, you're gonna have your bad, and the best thing to do is just don't give up. It's a lifestyle, it's a choice, and it's hopefully gonna get better.
So speaking of inputs and not relying on feed, bagged feed from the store, from the wholesaler or the retailer, what do you try and are you at the point yet where you're growing your own feed, your own forage for your livestock? Or you have chickens? Yeah, you get plenty of chickens.
Yeah.
What do you feed your chickens?
Yes and no. The goal is to be able to have the cover crop to be able to feed everybody and have that nutrients. So like the soldier fly bin, the maggot bin, something for sustaining the chickens. A lot of our animals are, for the most part, free ranging. They have enough of a habitat to be able to source what they need. We subsidize with Lava Lava Beach Club. We pick up their slop every day and we feed it to the animals. So the pigs, the ducks, the turkeys, the chickens. What else do we have? I think that's it. Eat that. The high maka maka ones, like the lovebirds, the pigeons, the quail, the chinchillas, the guinea pigs, the rabbits. Those we have them in ground pens. And then so the smaller ones, like the guinea pigs, we move the ground pens. So they're eating our grass every day. And then we do subsidize, because the grass here isn't going to give them exactly what they need. So I honestly don't believe in having too much of the store bought, because it is old by the time it gets here. And most of it's corn anyway. So we try our best to subsidize, and we're not there yet. At some point, that's the goal. And, we did partner with Ainaho'o Kupo Kilauea with Yoshkais. So we are the piggery for the system of having far more people be more food secure. So say you have a plot of land, you're going to start raising pigs. We are raising those pigs to go to your property as wean-offs. The program under Yosh will, or forgive me, Kilauea Ag Center, the program is, they will build a facility. It's the Korean style, the deep bedding system, and they will provide all the food. If you want to raise one pig for yourself, then you're going to raise two. One pig is going to go back to the center, Ainoho Ukupu, and the other pig is for you. So that will be for your family. Or if you don't need it, then you can sell it back to them and they'll pay you top dollar for the product.
For your time and
Yeah.
all your investment of
Yeah.
feeding and taking care of the animal.
Exactly. The goal is that we will have more. What happens if I can't get to Kilauea to go pick up our veggies from over there? Or, they're starting to do meat and chicken and things like that. What if I can't go to there? So talking at it as a store, right? If I couldn't go there, where am I going to get my veggies from? If we have more sites throughout our community, then there's more access through our whole island of fresh, sustainable produce. So anyway, the piggery is one system that is a great ideal, except we're feeding those pigs grain. And I asked Yosh, how is this sustainable? It sounds great, but if we run out of food, if the food's moldy, if the food gets wet, if something happens, like Iniki takes off the building and it's wet, ice, right? What are we going to do? He goes, well, that's the goal. We start here. What we want to do is have that cover crop. Somebody else stepping up and be like, bro, I'll do all the barley, or I'll do all the, I don't know what pigs eat, whatever, right? We'll do all of that and honestly be sustainable. So the long-term goal is to be able to care for our own, but right now we're just doing the best with what we can.
Well, okay, so here's an idea.
Tell me.
I've been farming over at KCC, and over there it is pig heaven. It is pig heaven because somebody had the foresight to plant soursop, avocado all over the place. And it falls all day, all night.
Yeah.
And they have no predators. The humans, nobody's hunting them. There's no traps over there. And so they come out in the middle of the day, just wander around. Yeah, so shoot, if you just plant soursop trees around your property, avocado around the property, lilikoi, they grind lilikoi.
All day long.
All day long. And shoot, one of them got into our farm. They got inside of our fence and they just mopped all of our kalo.
Oh.
They love kalo pig, and you don't even gotta cook it for them.
No, they'll just root it right up.
The crystals don't affect them at all. They mash the corn and the huli so that they destroy it, so you cannot even replant them.
Oh, that ouches. Ouch.
Yeah, so pigs, they'll eat anything. Just throw any fruit that any human doesn't want to eat, any fruit with some worms that fell on the ground.
Straight to them. Yeah.
Give it straight to the pigs. And guarantee they're going to taste good eating that way.
Yeah.
Papayas.
Mango. Oh my.
Shoot, so that sounds like a potential revenue stream for your farm as well, is the pig program, the piggery program.
Well, it's the partnership with Yosh. So it's we're not in charge of the piggies. We just raise them. It's for him to utilize what happens after. We're just making sure that the system works. We're kind of the experiment, and that we have that product to be able to have these local people raise their own food source.
How about goats? Do you ever sell goats off to forever homes?
We have sheep. Sheep is a big commodity. The goats, we don't have the infrastructure to keep a herd of goats. And the goats that we have, these are pets. They don't even know they're goats. You go by one, you scratch his back, he's in the back scratching yours. Like, this is not food.
Really? I mean,
oh my gosh, all day long. It's a full-time job. But
they don't make good kalding though, like
for sure, but not these ones, right? Like there's gotta be, everybody has to have a use. And so the goats that we have right now, they are not for food. To keep a goat, it's such a pain in the butt. They are the hardest animals I've dealt with besides cows and horses, because they don't respect wire. And just because they have food in here, they like make mahoy and want to know why, what's going on over there. Just in case I'm missing out on something. Keeping them inside of a fence is really, really hard. So we just don't have the infrastructure to keep a herd of Bob's whatever's goats, so to be able to have that as a food source, like we
Okay.
just
Okay.
not yet.
Maybe
At
one
some
day.
point. Yeah.
I know a few farmers that are looking for goats for lawnmowers, living lawnmowers.
Sheep are way better.
Sheep are better.
Yeah. Let's
Goat-
talk story, because sheep are way better.
Okay.
They are grazers, so they will keep steady on just mowing down the grass. And they
Okay.
respect the boundaries. They're not jumpers. They're not trying to get out and see what's out on the other side. Goats are foragers. Their bodies are designed to travel and eat a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What's happening over here? Some bark, some dry leaves. If you keep a goat in a pen and you feed them all day, just also really good protein, because we're going to fatten you up, or I have all this product that I need you to eat, it will probably die. They're just not made to eat that good of a product all the time.
Single diet.
Yeah. It's not
Interesting.
healthy for them. Super
Okay.
interesting species. So
in the meantime,
a lot of our colo farmers love sheep, because
Okay.
they will eat right up to the water, all the hono grass, everything they'll eat, but they won't touch the colo. They won't go inside and bust up all the lo'i beds. So we have a couple of good relationships with some Westside farmers, young farmers that are just starting, that we've just gave the sheep to, and they're happy. Their babies are growing up, and they're like, oh my gosh, look, the hipa, they're cute, and they're happy because their lo'is are so much better maintained, right?
Yeah,
it's a good system.
It is a living regenerative system.
Yeah.
So, but okay, so right now then your goats, their value,
they're
pet, and yoga, is that you guys still do that, the goat, baby goat yoga?
Yoga on the farm, so we don't have the interaction of the animals, because there are pains. They want to nibble your ear, tell you secret. They jump on top of you. They leave little pellets. Yeah, not the best for the interaction. I don't get it. It's a whole New York thing, whatever. I don't get it. But yoga on the farm is a thing, and it started because of when COVID happened. So many people are just not healthy. They're stuck in their home. So much fear. What do I do? Bro, get your butt outside. Go do your stretching, breathing. Like oh my gosh, heal, right? And just feel 20 pounds less by the time you go home. So that's a thing. Yeah, we do the yoga.
When's your yoga on the farm days? And little plug, yoga on the farm plug.
It's 4 times a week.
4 times a week? Okay.
Yeah. So Saturday at 9. We got Monday at 4:30. We got Wednesdays at 4:30 and Thursday at 9.
And who should they contact to come check out?
Samsati Yoga.
Yeah, this is opportunity to kind of hype up all your partners, everybody you're collaborating with. That's the other value of taking the time to do this podcast. So we're gonna do that for all of our special guests. And so yeah, we got Samsati Yoga. Are there any other partners that you've been working with?
Yeah, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Girl Scouts, CAN period. That's kind of like the philosophy. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Is that a Kauai brand or
with Andy? Yeah.
Okay.
And he's actually leading his own basically positive mindset and mental health is his jam. We partnered with him because we work with so many kids that if can, if no can, no can. But they're not talking about going beach, doing their homework, cleaning up their chores. They're talking about and that's not an option. Can period. Like, we are going to help you to just love on you, empower you, embrace you, because you can, and we're here to help. So can period. That was a super interesting partnership because we both went to Leadership Kauai. I heard of who he was. We were just, I think, breaking down. We just had the what was it? The April flood, Like I was not in a good place. It was just gnarly.
2018, that one.
There you go. Yeah.
That one affected you guys.
Oh heck yeah. 10 feet of water through our farm
10,
at a different
10
yeah.
feet.
Yeah. The water was still moving
10
in and I was swimming in.
swell.
Yeah. It was the most devastating part. Anyway. And that was the year that I was completing leadership Kauai. Somehow, you know, through networking or whatever, heard of CAN period, and I reached out to him. And same thing, people here of Kauai Animal Education Center, Kauai Animal Education Farm. Great, do you got your animals. It's not for me. And I reached out to him once. He's super sweet. He was okay. Thank you for calling. Second time, he's like, oh wow, that's interesting. Have a good day. Third time, he's like, wow, let me know more. What happened is I brought him to we were having drug court visit. Drug court is going through the process of kind of leaving their addiction behind and trying to fill that with more healthier, so that there's not a void, right? So really giving them those resources. So they visited our farm for a community service. I didn't call it that, but whatever. So what we did is we had 40 individuals, and we start with a pico, and we basically lay the foundation, the expectations, who we are, what we're doing here. I had Andy, he's the owner of CAN, and I had him just kind of be there and participate. I also asked his good friend, Makani Taniguchi, to come and be a part of it. Then I asked them to speak of who they are and what they did, each of them, because basically there is no there's no difference between them and me. There really isn't. Maybe they got caught, or maybe their addiction is easier seen. You know, like we all kind of struggle with the same thing, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I'm an addict. I'm just saying that we have the same struggles of why we do these hurtful things, right? Okay. Anyway, sorry. So Andy's doing his presentation. He's super uncomfortable. He hangs out with us throughout the day. He actually gives everybody a shirt or a hat and just really stokes them out. Brothers, they're pumped, man. They got new gear on. They're super pumped. They're loving his testimony. They're stoked to be on the farm. The first time that they showed up, they got to do their puff puff, but their puff puff is way over there. So because they still have their cigarettes, but we don't allow that. Our space is a safe space, and we hold that for everyone who comes in. So you want to go do your stuff? Yeah, perfect. I'll meet you back here when you guys are pumped. So all of them, get one whole cloud, all red shirts, clouds. The second break that they took, less than half went, go puff puff. The other guys, bro, full sweat, biggest smiles ever. They're still inside a stream, bro. They're still pulling all the weeds. They stay digging for the imu. They're planting. They planted over 40 native plants. These are plants that are not for my benefit. They're here for, you know how much guys they come back after to see how big. They brought their kids. Look, I did this. That's epic. Okay, anyway, getting back to Andy. So Andy is there. Andy spends a little bit of time with us. By the time we close Pico, nobody is out there puff puffing. We're all together. We close our circle. We end our time together, and we mahalo each other. Andy then got it. He was all, I see what you're doing. Now I have a design, whatever idea for KAC CAN. So that was just what I struggle with in this organization is making that connection to break down from I guess either the logo or the name to what it is that we're actually doing. There's a huge disconnect, and I'm struggling with how to get that so it's not such a big like I get it, because when you see the logo McDonald's, you know exactly what you need, what you want, whatever, right? You see Nike, you know exactly what that is. Kauai Animal Education Farm. No, what? Huh? Who? Anyway, that's my biggest struggle. The reason is because where we are, In Kulana, you know that that's a tricky situation. Our original name was Kauai Animal Education Center. The reason is because we weren't going to just focus on so much of being a rescue for the animals. We're looking at providing a large animal surgical vet center. We're looking at building a native rehabilitation. Right now, if a laiula, a pueo, even the bat, if some species gets hurt, SAVR Shearwaters has the capabilities of fixing whatever problem that is. If it's a leg, wing, whatever, kind of healing them. But there's a whole difference between fixing and rehabilitating.
Mhm.
We don't have those services on Kauai. So the animal is basically euthanized. Endangered animals, and we're just killing them because we cannot fix them. I mean, we cannot heal them and release them.
Mhm.
And nobody wants to front those costs to send them to Honolulu or Big Island where there are those services. So the thing dies. That's anyway. I want to do better. So I want to provide that service.
Do you already have that partner who can provide the veterinary type services, or are you still looking?
It would be the SAVR Shearwaters to provide those services, but
Mhm.
what we need would be the rehabilitation. We would need that space to be able to make sure that they are so safe and have limited human interactions so that they're not associating food or contact or whatever with humans,
Mhm.
that they will be able to go, and we're not there yet. They're nowhere near that. That's just our goals. And that's why the center was trying to cover all of these facets of what we're
Mhm.
looking at. Okay, so we're wanting to do basically the cultural side of what Waipa perpetuates with the culture, the services, the food, all of that. And they're partnered with Kamehameha. Like, they're legit, right? We know exactly what Waipa Foundation is doing. So that's what we would like to perpetuate or have. In addition, we would like to be just similar to the Humane Society in the rescue and the sources of having that medical services for our animals. On top of, we would like to be a little like a Nine-a-Hole for having like leadership training, just being that open space to have all of these networking opportunities happen. When we have child and welfare services visit, we have the kids and the parents having their visits at the farm. With those visits, guess what? You guys could go get acai bowl because we're growing all these fruits and vegetables, right? How better to nourish your body, nourish your, like, it just seems like it would work. The other part would be the farm, the country store, basically,
Mhm.
right? Where we're selling these goods because we got quail eggs, chicken eggs, honey, blah, 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 whatever that the farm is producing. So that's a lot to put inside of a little
One name,
or whatever. So
one
it
logo.
originated as center, but because of where we are structured or where our land is utilized, it's in Kulana.
Mhm.
It's really, really hard to justify a center in a what is it, condominium, whatever,
Yeah,
whatever.
CPR, yeah.
Yeah. So we renamed it to farm, and then it kind of
Mhm.
justifies, yes, we're growing animals, we're growing food, and we're doing commercial activities too.
And
So
more.
yeah, and
Above
more.
and beyond, healing
Yeah.
the nation. Well, thank you so much for your time. Mahalo for your mana'o and for sharing your positive energy and your story. I'm looking forward to working with you more and seeing all the great things that are going to come out of this project and this community that you've helped create over on the east side. Is there anything else you'd like to share? I think we've been going for a while now, so
I talk too much. I'm sorry.
no.
I'm thinking,
This all good. This is good content. This is great
uh,
content.
for anyone who's struggling, seriously, you're not alone. Uh, I don't know if you want to even reach out if you felt there was a connection, but you're not alone. And guess what? Just as much as it is hard, there's the good that comes on the other side of this, like a storm. Weather the storm, there is sunshine and rainbows. Oh, now I sound like one hippie and I'm not. Okay, but there is better on the other side. Hang in there. Reach out. You're not alone. My best advice is to find others to partner with. If you're not so good in this, find others who are. You're not supposed to do it all by yourself. And you're choosing a noble thing to do. So with that, you will be tested above and beyond you ever thought. So please just hang in there. It is worth it.
It is.
And
It
mahalo.
is. We in this
Mahalo for
together. We're in
opportunity.
this together. Yeah. And one thing that I've come to believe in strongly is if something is easily had, it cannot be worth very much.
Yeah.
And in this life, the things that we struggle hardest for are the most valuable things in the end.
Yes, I agree. Thank
Mahalo
you.
nui loa, Christy.
Mahalo.
We want to thank our guests for their generosity and mana'o. We also want to thank all our ag producers throughout the islands, and especially those we have heard on the podcast for discussing ways they address the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of Hawaii ag production. Each story, each voice contributes to a broader understanding of what it takes to survive and thrive as we feed our communities. Wherever you may find yourself within our island agriculture economies, if you would like to share your story in our podcast, please contact us. Thank you for listening to the Seeds of Wellbeing, Voices from the Field podcast featuring their perspectives of ag producers throughout the Hawaii Islands. If you have found it helpful, please follow, like, and share this episode with others. And if you have any ideas about how we can make it better, please let us know in the comments or use the link on our website. Mahalo for tuning in.